Hi, this is Matthew Robert Payne, and this is the book He's Redeeming Love. This is chapter 80, and this is called Going Off Medication Again. You would have thought I would have learned my lesson going off my medication twice and ending up in hospital twice from a breakdown or a psychotic episode. You'd think that someone with a reasonable amount of intelligence in this world would not go off their medication and think that they're right, but when you've got a voice that's pretending to be Jesus, who you are sure it is Jesus saying to you that you're healed, that you can go off your medication now, you act out in faith and believe in faith, and you walk off your medication. I know at one stage, Mutu, the visiting teacher that taught me not to listen to Jesus and God the Father and Mary Magdalene, and only read the Word of God, read the Gospels when I want to hear Jesus, read the prophets when I want to hear God, and don't talk to Mary Magdalene. I know he'd had those instructions, but I'd spent a few years prophesying and got used to the voice of Jesus Christ again, and thought I was comfortable with the voice of Jesus Christ again, and so didn't think that I was being lied to. And so once again, the Jesus voice, the Antichrist spirit, said to me that you're healed and you need to go off your medication and walk free of this, and you'll have a wonderful testimony for people. Once again, I believed that and went off my medication, and took a number of weeks. I think it took about 10 weeks before I had an incident in my community centre where I went into my community centre and I spoke to Robin Moulds, Sarah's mother, and I was very upset with her and getting very angry. And her son Nathan Moulds came in from another office and was wondering, because of my loud voice, was his mother okay, and his mother assured him that things were okay with a look, and he left the office, and I continued my angry barrage with the mother. I talked to Robin, and she said that she seriously thought I was going to hit her that day, but was willing to get hit, and wasn't scared of me. But she seriously has laughed since and thought that I was going to hit her. And I'm not particularly a violent person. I do get angry, but I've been in few fights in my life and only been in fights trying to protect myself, and so not particularly a violent person. And so I didn't hit her, but I went out from her office, and she had to go out, and I was standing at our reception in the Salvation Army and went behind the reception desk, which I'd been behind the reception desk before and served customers when they're short of staff. And when I was behind the reception desk, a new guy called Dwayne, who was new to the Salvation Army or recent to the Salvation Army, said I had to get away from being behind the reception desk, and I took exception to that. He had no idea that I'd been behind the reception desk and serving people before, and who was he to be telling me what I could do and what I couldn't do? He was the new man in the block, and I was someone who'd been around, and he obviously didn't know who I was. So I got very angry at him and told him I'd kill him, and got to a point where I was going to be violent with him. And because I'd had a father that had belted me and been an angry dad, I'd learnt how to be angry and intimidating with my anger. And because I'd had a brother that had personally beaten me up, I thought that sometimes there was solutions in violence. And so even though I wasn't a violent person, I was brought to a certain stage that day that I was sounding very angry and out of my mind and totally out of control. One of the people in the Salvation Army got on the phone and rang the police, and warned them that, told them to come down and pick me up because I wasn't in a good state. And she's a good friend, Angela, and she is a good friend, and later confessed to me that it was her that had rang the police, and she was seriously worried for me. She'd never seen me angry before. I'm a very happy and go-lucky sort of guy. I'm always got a smile and always seem to be encouraging to people, and it was very distressing for her to see me so worked up and so angry. And she knew that I had a mental condition, and she knew that I needed to go to a hospital, and so she rang the police, and they informed the police that I'd need to go to a hospital. And the police, Sarah came out, and in the midst of me being angry, and took me aside and was trying to settle me down and trying to get me to leave the premises before the police come and just go home and settle down. And I was walking up to leave the premises with her, and the police arrived and came down and saw me and realised I was the person. And I immediately got angry again with the police and said, "I bet you're here to take me to hospital." And they said, "Is that where you think you need to go?" And I said, "You know, if I had a knife, I'd kill you." And they said, "Well, we pretty well believe that, and it's a good thing you haven't got a knife." And they put me in the back of their paddy wagon and took me off in the paddy wagon to the nearest mental health unit, or they took me to the nearest hospital emergency ward, and they had me admitted into a hospital. That the actual mental health ward of the hospital was full at the time, so they had to put me in a ward, in a closed room, in a ward in the hospital. But once again, I'd found myself in hospital. God bless.